Jiggle.
Harmony.
Tell us what's going on here.
Ooh, what's going on over here?
Perosterate. I just want you to know I almost never have you in mind.
Okay.
Nobody tell me what to do, okay?
Oh yeah.
We're doing this.
This is it. This is
Purim 2026.
This is Purim 2026. The year that Purim really came back to life.
2,000 years later.
2,000 years later.
We waited for this moment.
And we're here.
Look, listen, before we get into that, we are a people of the book, right?
Yes, we are.
And we are opening up the Book of Esther.
Yes, we are.
And a lot of people out there, you know, they maybe they know the story a little bit. Maybe they know, but maybe they can't read the Hebrew or decipher it or understand it.
I learned that you have to understand the text.
Right.
The Megillah. The whole idea, the story, you can apply it to our day.
Yes.
And when we sit there and the rabbis are just going, Haman! Yeah. Right, then it's like the whole night's gone and you don't know, you can't connect to it.
Unless you're a 4-year-old, you're not connecting to that.
No.
Right?
No.
A 4-year-old's dressing up, there's candy, they're going boo with the groggers.
Yeah.
It's fun. We're 40. Just play along.
Yeah, 42.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we want to connect to it. So let's read it in English. We'll do block by block.
Yes, well,
pieces.
first, what's the big mitzvah of Purim?
Big mitzvah of Purim is to get drunk enough that you can't tell the difference between Haman and Mordechai.
Now, before we say that, I want to say one time I got so drunk, one Purim, that I couldn't tell the difference between my wife and her best friend. And that got me into some trouble.
That's definitely
that was a joke,
dangerous.
Folks. That's just a joke because I'm a comedian. But the point is, the point is you are supposed to get a little bit inebriated. So I brought these little wine glasses.
Just a little bit,
so
exactly.
we don't get too crazy. And this psagot, this is a winery from Israel. You ever been to the Psagot winery?
No, but you should take me one time.
Oh, I will absolutely. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, why not take this?
Overlooking the
You
Judean
do it like
hills.
this?
Yeah, do that.
Okay, then you do-
Overlooking the Judean hills.
Beautiful.
And you just drink wine and you eat. So I'm glad we're opening a kosher wine from the Holy Land.
From the Holy Land. The
Yeah.
grapes were watered
What is the
in Israel.
significance, though, of getting drunk before we read?
Well, you're actually not supposed to get drunk before you read. You're supposed to get
I meant
drunk
before
during the
we-
meal.
Yeah.
Or us right now?
Yeah. No.
The Purim.
Yes.
Okay, the idea is to drink during your meal. You're supposed to be part of the
Seudah,
meal.
the Purim Seudah.
Yeah, you're supposed to have some meat, some bread, and some wine.
But why? Like, it's very rare that it's a law to get plastered.
Yeah, so it's not to get plastered. It's more to get woozy and then get, drunk enough that you want to go to sleep. That's kind of the idea. It's to kind of like blend bad and good and not tell the difference between bad and good.
Right.
And that way you can kind of be like, everything's good.
Right. And before we get into it, let's make a l'chaim and a bracha on the wine, okay? I'm going to pour my guest first. That's yours. Because you're at my house. But this is your show, by the way. This was your idea. This is your show. I'm just your guest.
Our show.
It's our show. But let's make a l'chaim to what is going on today, this Purim miracle that we are experiencing right now, that the people of Iran should be freed.
Amen.
Which will free the entire Middle East,
Amen.
from Yemen to Lebanon to Gaza. And of course, our people, the people of Israel, who will be free from terror, free from just the feeling that my own son right now is in a bomb shelter, running back and forth because of this regime.
This bracha's for his protection.
For his protection,
and
for all
Jews
the protection.
in all the lands.
Yes, and to thank Hashem for the miracle of Purim the first time and now 2,000 years later. Thank you, Hashem. L'chaim, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen. I didn't know if you had me in mind, so I'll say it also. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
I just want you to know I almost never have you in mind.
Okay. Hold on. I'm just going to play this because this is, what does everything that's happening remind us of?
Do you know that it says the Messianic time? Because there's two redemptions. There's the redemption that we experience coming from Egypt when God freed us from Egypt and into the promised land, into the Holy Land, into Israel. That was a redemption. And then God promised and delivered on that redemption and delivered on that. And then God promised to deliver on another redemption, the second and God willing, the final redemption, which is
It's coming. Everything, all the stars are aligning. We have to do another sit down to go through all the aspects.
But let's get to the book.
Let's get to the book.
By the way, just for the record, it's a very interesting thing that they say that the Messianic time happens once the Persian Empire falls. Do you hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah. So like we're right there.
This is it. This is it.
So hold on to your yarmulkes and let's read.
All right. So we'll start off the book with the beginning. I think that's a great idea.
Bereshit.
Well,
But that's
Megillah
that
Esther.
book. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
But here we're talking about Achashverosh.
Yes.
In Farsi is Hashiyashar.
Yeah.
Hashiyashar Shah. And he was the king at the time.
It's so weird. This took place in your homeland, in your other homeland,
in my kingdom.
in your kingdom.
Mordechai is like a babai to me.
He's like a Persian.
Yeah, he is a Persian. Esther is a Persian. They're all Persian. So we got.
I meant like a Persian from Westwood, where we are filming right now.
This is for all our brothers and sisters.
I can't do it.
So you got to jiggle, jiggle,
too Oshki.
jiggle, twist, twist. We should get to the book. We're gonna
sorry,
just
go
playing
ahead.
with this the whole night.
Vayehi bimei Achashverosh. Let's read it.
Okay, so
In English.
Go ahead. You start.
And it came to pass in the days of Achashverosh. And by the way, Achashverosh, who's the modern day Achashverosh, people say?
You know, the big guy, the guy that's doing, I think, probably better than anybody. I think I'm doing, at this point, I'm doing better than God. You know, God, you look at him and he does very well, but not as good as me. He doesn't do as well as I did. Even in the beginning, you know, God created the earth in 6 days. By the way, I would have done it in 4. I don't think he did very well.
Anyway, the point is, it is.
That is very good. That's more
Thank you,
fantastic
Mordechai.
than.
But there is sort of a modern day. We are writing our own Megillah.
And to add to that, Achashverosh was very neutral.
Yes.
He just passed the signet ring to the right person at the right time.
Yes.
And Trump is just kind of like moving with the force
Yes.
and kind of like.
And by the way, love him or hate him, I don't care about your politics or his politics. I care about policy, not politics. I care about good decisions. And saving the people of Iran, as he promised, when he saw what was going on over there, where the regime was just slaughtering, massacring people, he came to their rescue.
Yeah.
So you know, if you don't
Hashem
like
should
that,
bless him.
that's just that you're just too politically messed up in the head. I don't see politics. I see good things happening.
What's actually happening?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, here we go. So the Achashverosh who reigned from Hodu to Kush, where's that?
Somewhere in Iran, but it's 127 provinces. It's basically, I think, the biggest empire of the time.
Nice.
By the way, don't fact check anything that we say, guys, tonight.
Please.
Only whatever we read in here.
Yes. Over 127 provinces. That in those days, when King Ahasuerus sat on his royal throne, which was in Shushan, the capital, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast for all his officials and his servants, the army of Persia and Media, the nobles and officials. So tell us, so this is a feast that he makes in his castle
They had
in
a
the palace?
huge dinner that night.
Right.
And actually, I think the party lasted.
Week-long feast, it says.
Was it a week long?
It says it right here. And when these days were fulfilled, the king made a week-long feast for all the people who were present in Shushan, the capital. So yeah, there was a lot of partying. That's a long party a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some Iranian parties
That's a
have
rager.
like wedding nights in LA. A lot of them, they actually come with breakfast in the morning.
Right.
And like they've done that in the past.
So this was one week.
1 week long of partying.
This was a Pesach program.
And
of
look at what
partying.
they designed this place with. Like, it's very extra. I mean, the Iranians still keep this today. You go to Beverly Hills, you have all these gold accents,
Yes.
these drapes that go like 100 feet high into the sky.
Yeah.
Like the roofs are very high. The ceilings, they have the pillars in the front.
Yeah.
You see this really blood connection
And
to.
the drinking was according to the law. So they also had the law to drink. And then Vashti comes in. Vashti the queen. Tell us a little bit about Vashti.
Okay.
I heard she was the top 10, I'm not kidding, most beautiful human beings that ever existed. There's like a midrash about her extraordinary beauty.
Wow.
So that when he ordered her killing, spoiler alert, we'll get to that. Sorry. But he almost regretted, what did I do? She was special. She
Hard
was
to find.
stunning.
She was a gem.
A gem. So go ahead. Vashti the queen, go ahead. Also made a feast for the women.
Yeah. Continue going.
Okay. In the royal house of King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he ordered, what's this? Mehuman, Bezetha. Who are these people? Just his advisors to the 7 chambers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he ordered them to bring Vashti the queen. So this is the first
And she
move.
basically said no. She said, "I'm not coming. I'm not showing up." And she ended up.
Like, excuse me.
They ended up.
Yeah. She was like, I
hanging
ain't
her.
going nowhere. Okay?
Yeah,
Nobody tell me what to do, okay?
And that was a big deal,
right? She was a strong woman, that
Yeah,
Vashti.
Vashti is a very strong name, strong woman. But what's interesting here is the whole idea of the king, as we're going to read through here. It's a very extra position. Like, if you look at him the wrong way, they kill you.
Yeah.
That's how it was back then.
Yeah.
You can't even come speak to him, even though if you're the queen.
Sounds familiar. Sounds like the Ayatollah that we just got rid of yesterday.
Yeah, but his wives were like 5 and 6 years old.
No, as far as if you look at him the wrong way, if you show a strand of hair,
Then he has the ability to just say, "You're done."
he kills you. It's documented. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment. And then the king conferred with the experts who knew the times, right?
The laws, the judgments.
Yes.
Those closest to him were a bunch of difficult names.
Right.
And
They had access to the king.
but they went legally, the legal route.
Well, that's what he says. So what shall be done legally to Queen Vashti for not obeying the bidding of King Ahasuerus conveyed by the chamberlains? So what happened? Memuchan declared before the king and the officials, it is not only the king whom Vashti the queen has wronged,
but also all the officials and all the people in the provinces, the king Ahasuerus.
Persians get insulted very
Yeah, it got
easily.
very dramatic.
I noticed that.
All the
about
cousins,
them. You know
neighbors,
what I
they know
mean?
what's going on.
Persians,
Yeah.
they get insulted very easily.
Yeah.
Right? One time I did like this innocuous joke about Persians because I love Persians. And I just did a joke. And this old Persian, how dare you make fun of the Persian people? We will never invite you to our community ever again for any performance. And I was like, good, because you don't pay very well.
Oh,
but anyway, no. See, these are jokes, but the point is they're very sensitive. Go ahead. Do we have something there? Put-um-bump. Do we have anything? Do we have a...
No, we don't have that.
Just play some fun music.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So let's go to the next piece here.
Yeah.
They basically say that she has to die.
Yeah.
They ended up killing her. And then when the king's decree, which he shall proclaim, shall be resounded throughout all the kingdoms, all the wives will know respect to their husbands, great and small alike. So what's happening here? He's like, let's make a lesson for everyone.
Yes.
That if you don't listen to the man of the house,
Yes.
you're gonna be gone.
Right.
So that's what he did. He killed her and said all the family should know that there should be such a thing as a man of the house.
Right. In my house, it's if you don't listen to the woman of the house, you will
That's
be banished.
modern day. Yeah, you have
will
to.
be banished from your
The
kingdom.
only answer to the wife is yes.
Yes.
That's how you have shalom bayit.
Amen.
And he sent that letter out to everybody saying that this is what happened, and then everyone realized that he killed his wife.
So it says that here in chapter 1?
Yeah. Now we're going to chapter 2.
So let's go to chapter 2 because that introduces the one and only. You ready for this? You have some music for this? The one and only Mordechai.
Mordechai.
Isn't it interesting that Mordechai, who is one of the heroes of the story along with Esther, my son is named Mordechai. And we named him that because he was born around Purim time. His birthday is Thursday. And again, it's so crazy that my son Mordechai is now experiencing in Israel this Purim story.
The wrath of Iran.
Revisited, and the wrath of Iran. And how just amazing God is. And this whole holiday is about...
The attack happened on Parshat Zachor. I know we spoke about that.
Yeah.
It's just, all the stars are aligning.
What is this holiday about? Revealing the hidden.
Yeah.
You know what's not mentioned in this Megillah?
What?
Hashem.
Yes.
God's name is not mentioned once in this Megillah because he is hidden in the story, but yet the biggest part of the story, he ultimately saves the Jewish people.
What's so powerful to add to that is that the Megillah, the miracles in it are said to be like some of the biggest miracles, like splitting of the sea.
Yep.
But it's written and it happened in such a way that it's so relatable. It's like
Yes.
the sea didn't actually split
It's
here.
like a nice
This is
story.
It's like the right timing, and you can kind of relate that to your own experiences in life. Like, oh, that wouldn't have happened if this and this didn't happen.
There's nothing that defies the laws of nature. There's no like fantastical, like you said, splitting of the sea.
Just the right timing, and we'll point them out. We'll point out each time. It's just like,
Yeah.
if that didn't happen, all the Jews would have been dead.
Yeah. But amazing that it's our enemies. For thousands of years, it's the same story. And can I just give a message to our future enemies?
Yeah, tell the enemies right in this camera.
Open up a history book. If you want to know the spoiler alert ending to your little plan of annihilation, your pathetic plan to annihilate God's people, and we're all God's people, all of humanity are God's people, but we have that special relationship. I call us, they say the chosen, I say we are elevated. We're not better than any other people. We're not more special. We're slightly elevated in holiness, in Kedusha, because we are constantly learning Torah and trying to spread the word of Torah.
Spread morality.
Yeah, and to me, can I just say this? I realized the other day that Judaism really comes down to two things, two words. Are you ready for this? Two words. Are you ready for this?
What are they?
Gratitude and kindness. Now think about it.
Chesed and emuna.
Yes. Now,
Or bitachon? Or
No, kindness. I'll explain it. Gratitude. It's all about waking up in the morning, Modeh Ani, thank you Hashem for another day. We daven 3 times a day. We're constantly being grateful for our lives, for the world, for Hashem, for our families. It's gratitude. And then there's kindness. What do we do all day, or what are we supposed to be doing? Doing mitzvahs, giving tzedakah, charity, helping others. Do unto others is the basis of the Torah. So when you think about even the Luchot, the 10 Commandments, the first half is between
us
man
and God.
So that's the gratitude. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Second 5 commandments are between man and man. That's kindness. Be kind to each other. Give charity. Help your fellow man and woman. Help people. Help the world. That is the entirety of Judaism.
That's all it is.
Gratitude
And kindness.
kindness.
And that's if we do that, we will affect all those around us. I really think that it's the very secular, non-observant Jews that, let's say, they don't keep anything and they want to go against the Torah.
Right.
That they end up
now,
being.
wait a second. The very famous comedian Yochai Sponder is calling me. Let's see what he wants. Yochai?
What's up, bro?
Just so, first of all, just one thing. We are taping right now a reading of Megillah Esther in a way that's sort of digestible to those that maybe aren't familiar with the story, can't read Hebrew. So I wanted to put you on camera. You're on the mic right now. Say hi to everybody. This is the great Israeli comedian Yochai Sponder. Are you safe? Where are you? How's it going over there?
Hi, guys.
All right. Just
I'm safe. I'm safe in Austin, Massachusetts.
Oh, of course you're safe because you're gigging. You're on tour still.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
My gig saved me. But you know, it was a terror attack right here, 700. I think it's because of me. 700 meters from my hotel.
When?
It was a terror attack last night in Austin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I heard about that. It's horrible,
Yeah,
horrible,
so
horrible.
sad.
And what about your family in Israel? How are they doing?
Thank God they're okay, and it's crazy, man. You know, it's crazy.
It's such a crazy time. It's biblical. We were just saying how Purim 2026, it's 2,000 years in the making. Once again, the same old story. And I was just looking into the camera and telling our enemies, can you just open up a history book and see where you end and see where we end?
Look what Zeresh says. Zeresh
let me hear
says. She says.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go against the Jews, when she saw the downfall, she says, then you're going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
That's the wife of Haman said that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Yochai?
I think we should. I think we deserve a new Bible episode of our modern time. We deserve, we earned that. You know.
I have an idea. Wait, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Megillat Yochai.
No, I'm not a hero.
No, you are the hero of our people. You are the one fighting the good fight, speaking the truth about Israel, and you're out there doing it the best way possible with comedy and with jokes.
You do that too. So let's do Elon and Yochai times like the Shoftim. We're gonna be the comedians.
Yeah, there were the prophets, right? The Naviim, and then the Ketuvim, and then we'll be the comedians. All right, can I call you later? We're in the middle of this, but thank you for
Bye,
appearing.
bye, bye.
Okay, love you.
Love.
Stay
Bye,
safe.
bye.
It
Bye.
says if Mordechai
Yochai Sponder, our first special guest.
So Zeresh says to Haman, if Mordechai before whom you have begun to fall is of Jewish descent, you will not prevail against him, but will undoubtedly fall before him. of Jewish descent. But we're going to see how many times it says the Jew,
Yeah.
Mordechai the Jew.
Well, let's introduce him.
Okay, go ahead.
Chapter 2.
These.
There was a Jewish man in Shushan, the capital, whose name was Mordechai, son of Yair, son of Shimei, son of Kish, a Benjaminite, who had been exiled from Jerusalem. Now, what's that story?
Because they came from the first temple. It hasn't even been 100 years.
Wow.
The first temple to the second temple was, I think, a 70-year period. So these are people that came from the first temple.
Wow, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon,
Had exiled.
So he was not a good guy.
No.
He exiled all the Jews out of their
The
homeland,
first temple, yeah.
out of their first temple. And this is thousands of years ago.
Yep.
And isn't
Over
it
2,500 years
Isn't
ago.
it insane that anybody questions the indigenous rights of the Jewish people to this land? Isn't that crazy?
It's
to
hard
you?
to compete with the reality.
With reality and history. It is
Yeah.
hard. Okay, so keep reading.
Okay, so it came to pass when the king's bidding and decree were published.
Wait, Hadassah, who's that? And he had reared Hadassah,
Oh.
that is Esther, his uncle's daughter.
So Mordechai raised her. Esther was an orphan. A lot of people
She
don't know
had no
that.
father,
She
no
had
mother.
Yeah,
Yep.
and her uncle Mordechai raised her.
Mordechai.
What do we do for Mordechai?
If we're going to boo Haman, we have to yay Mordechai.
So he raised Esther, and if he didn't raise her, that's one right there. One right there. That's one thing that happened. That if it didn't happen, we'd all be dead.
Right.
If Mordechai didn't raise Esther and open his home to her, she would not have become the queen, because she would
So
have
one act of kindness
saved all the Jewish people by opening his home.
I mean, let that resonate right now.
That's crazy.
Just sit with that. Your home, think about that act of kindness that you can do, and you don't know what it could lead to, the saving of an
You know,
entire
there
people.
are Jewish orphans.
Yeah.
So like people
Obviously.
can go and adopt a Jewish child. That's actually such a beautiful mitzvah.
Yes.
That should be spoken about. People should be shy.
Absolutely.
Maybe
Why is only Angelina Jolie adopting people?
Did all your kids move out already?
Well, I can still have a couple at home. Yeah.
You have some
Well, you want
empty
to put them
open
up for adoption?
bedrooms?
Oh, I do have a couple of open bed. Just call me 1-800-ADOPT-A-CHILD.
So you could adopt probably two, God willing.
No, but it is a beautiful. Anyone that adopts a child is saving a life and is a true righteous person.
Chazaka Baruch to all those families that have adopted.
Yes, so let's keep reading. So now about the Esther. Esther was taken into the palace under the charge of Haggai, right? The girl pleased him. What does that mean? And she obtained his kindness. He hurriedly prepared her cosmetics and her allowance of delicacies to present her, along with the 7 special maids from the palace. And he transferred her and her maidens to the best quarters in the harem.
So they kept them like down there. They beautified them. They
This is
they gave them
interesting.
all the beautiful stuff.
Esther had not told of her people or her kin. She didn't say she was Jewish. She
Because
had
Mordechai told her, don't tell anyone that you're Jewish. She basically hid her Jewish star.
to save her life,
Yes.
not for any other reason, but to save her life.
Yes.
Right now, it's time though to not
Bring it out.
hide, to bring it out, to represent.
Look at
be
that thing.
Proud.
Beautiful.
Jewish pride.
Every day Mordechai used to walk about in front of the courtyard of the harem to find out about Esther,
Yes.
well-being, and what would become of her. So he was nervous. He'd always come visit around the palace, walk around, and kind of
Right.
get some updates about her.
Right.
Now, when each girl's turn arrived to come to the king, Ahasuerus, after having been treated according to the manner of prescribed of women of 12 months,
Yes.
say a 12-month beautifying period, being anointed with oil and beautiful smells and perfumes, the girl came to the king. Thus, the girl came to the king after her waiting period. She was given whatever she requested to accompany her from the harem to the palace. In the evening, she would come, and the next morning, she would return to the second harem.
Listen to this. Daughter of Abihal, Esther was, uncle of Mordechai, who had adopted her as his own daughter. That's what you were just talking about, right? Mm-hmm. And to come to the king, she requested nothing beyond what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, guardian of the women, had advised. Esther would captivate all who saw her. She was another beautiful woman. There was Vashti, and then there was Esther. Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus into his palace in the 10th month, which is the month of Teves, in the 7th year of his reign. The king loved Esther more than all the women, and she won more of his grace and favor than all the other girls. so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen in place of Vashti.
Then the king made
Another banquet.
Yeah,
he
huge
loved those
dinner.
banquets.
Yeah, we like to
and
party.
those are like Persian feasts.
But look
with
how
the
crazy
nuts
these.
and the parsimons on the table and the lamb chops.
No,
and
but
the-
look at it goes into detail as to how they dressed up these banquets.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it was Esther's banquet, and he proclaimed an amnesty for the provinces and gave gifts worthy of the king. And when the maidens were gathered together the second time, and Mordechai sat at the king's gate, Esther still told nothing of her kindred, of her people, as Mordechai has instructed her. For Esther continued to obey Mordechai, just as when she was raised by him. She had a lot of hakarat tov, and she listened to everything he said.
Yes.
So in those days, while Mordechai was sitting at the king's gate, this is crazy. Bigthan and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains of the guardians of the threshold, became angry and plotted to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. The plot became known to Mordechai, who told it to Queen Esther, and Esther informed the king in Mordechai's name. The matter was investigated. Again, look how legal they are.
Very.
Investigated and corroborated, and they were both hanged on gallows. It was recorded in the Book of Chronicles in the king's palace. Number two, if Mordechai wasn't there, he wouldn't have heard the plot of these two soldiers to kill Ahasuerus. And then they would have killed Ahasuerus.
What do you attribute that to other than right place, right time?
Exactly. God placed Mordechai in the
Yes.
right place. That he overheard it. And then also that Esther went and told Ahasuerus. Maybe she would have just been like, that's nothing. Guards always talk about these things.
Yeah.
She took importance to it.
Yeah.
And then they wrote it in the book. What if they didn't even write it in the book? The king has a chronicles. He has a book of all like the facts that have happened while he is the king. So you're going to see this comes back and saves the Jews because of that, because it was written in the book.
Wow.
Okay, continue.
Now we're on chapter 3, right?
Yeah.
This is the part, you ever sitting there with the Megillah reading and you just go, how much
More time we got
longer?
left.
How many more of these?
But this year we won't do that because this is going to be inspiring after
By
we
the way,
we
it's
learn
not
this.
a lot. It's not a lot. We're a third way there. People, stay tuned because the story gets better, right?
Yes,
We
continue.
don't want to bore people. All right, chapter 3. After these things, King Ahasuerus promoted Haman. Oh, Haman! Is that the first mentioning of Haman?
I think so. We gotta.
So it's customary that to boo, when you hear Haman's name, you boo him because he was a bad guy, a very bad guy. And he really had this decree to kill all the Jews. Now, what kind of insane megalomaniacal maniac just has this plan?
A lot of people that actually live in the U.S. have this plan.
Really?
Yeah, they hate the Jews just as much as Haman.
That's pathetic. So what we have to do is recognize who your enemy is and then destroy them.
Let God destroy them.
Yeah.
Pray, and God will align the stars.
You don't go out there and destroy your enemy. Pray, and God will destroy them. So promoted Haman, the son of whatever, Yamach Shemom, and advanced him. He set his seat above all the officers who were with him. He promoted him. All the king's servants at the king's gate would bow down and prostrate themselves before Haman.
Listen to this. They wouldn't
bow to him.
They wouldn't bow down to Ahasuerus, and he's
The
the
king.
king. Why would they bow down to Haman? So I asked the rabbi this, and this is going to make a lot more sense. Haman would wear an idol on his necklace, like some sort of figure, some idol, and people would bow down. They would bow down to his idol,
Right.
or perhaps he got the energy from the dark side from that. That's why Mordechai would not bow down to him. We're going to get there.
It says it right here. But Mordechai would not bow down nor prostrate himself. Why?
It's
one of
against the
our
Torah. Yeah, it was one of the big cardinal sins. You cannot serve another god. You have to give up your life.
Yep.
You have to give up your life. There's only a few of those things.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you got to kill this person or we kill you, you got to take the bullet.
Yeah.
You got to bow down to this god or we
Yep.
kill you, you got to give up your life.
That's such an important point because that's how much Judaism sanctifies life, that you have to give up your own life. If someone says to you, kill that person, or I'm going to kill you, you say,
You're gone.
Go ahead.
Yep.
The only time you kill is when you are about to be
get killed.
or in self-defense,
Exactly.
and you're saving your life. Okay, so you keep reading now.
Okay, so the king's servants and
Let's have some background music to this reading.
yeah.
Make it interesting. Ah, it's getting interesting. I like this. A little lower so we can hear you. Now go ahead, read.
But Mordechai
Yes.
would not bow down or prostrate himself like a plank of wood.
I'm sorry, is that prostrate? How did you say it?
Yeah, something similar.
No, say it.
Prostrate.
No, you said prostrate.
So the king's servants at the
Persians always add syllables to words that aren't there. Right?
because syllables are
prostrate.
free, so we got to add a couple.
Exactly. Perosterate. Perosterate. Perosterate.
So the king's servants
Yeah.
at the king's gate said to Mordechai, "Why do you disobey the king's command?" Finally, when they
For
said
not bowing.
for not bowing down. Finally, when they said this to him after day after day, and they kept repeating like, "Hey, like bow down to him," he did not listen to them, and they
Right.
told Haman to see whether Mordechai's words would avail,
Right.
for he had told them that he was a Jew. Look at that specifically
A
because he's
Jew. Sound effect.
right because we like Jews.
We like Jews.
No, but he specifically points out that he's Jewish. That's why he's doing these things. That's why we should hate him.
Right.
When Haman himself saw that Mordechai did not bow down, by the way, that's Lashon Hara. Look at that. Haman didn't notice until they pointed it out to him.
That's explain Lashon Hara to the
Lashon
people.
Hara speaking evil or bad or negative things. So if these two people didn't get their nose all like, oh, what's going on over here?
Right.
Then Mordechai wouldn't have been shown to light to Haman.
Unbelievable.
Haman is probably so full of himself, he's not even noticing what's going on around him, right?
Yep.
Okay, continue. You're reading fast. You read faster and better than me. So,
But I am old and I could barely see.
okay,
these
when
words
Haman
anymore.
himself saw that Mordechai did not bow and prostrate himself before him, then Haman was filled with rage.
Yes.
However, it seemed contemptible to him to lay hands on Mordechai alone, for they had made known to him the people of Mordechai.
And look at this. Letters were sent by courier to all the king's provinces to destroy, to slay, to exterminate all Jews, young and old, children and women, in a single day,
One day,
the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar.
the month that we're in right now.
We are in Adar right now. It's a very special month. Misha nichnas Adar marbin b'simcha.
So that's the first decree of negativity, where he said we're going to kill all the Jews, and there's only on a 1 day period.
Right.
Go out and kill them all, just for 1 day, 24 hours. Go kill them.
right.
Then Haman said to King Achashverosh, "There's a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of your realm. Their laws are different than from every other people. They're like they haven't assimilated. Look what happened. What they're doing in America. They're like, look at these Jews. Look at how they live. Look at what they wear. Look how they dress.
They hate us for assimilating.
They're
they
different.
hate us when we stick to our own ways and our
Yeah.
own traditions.
They hate either way. They do not observe.
By the way, Larry,
Yeah,
did you buy buns?
I wasn't asked to buy buns.
Oh my God, we don't have buns.
It's a keto dinner.
My wife told me
We're serving burgers without buns.
Well, the mitzvah is actually wine and meat, so maybe that's a little.
Okay, right on. Here we go.
You're so annoyed. Anyways, they do not observe.
When
the,
you went to the store to buy the burgers, you didn't go, maybe I should buy buns too?
it's a Gamzil Tova moment.
Okay, all right.
Gamzil Tova. So he's saying they do not observe even the king's laws. Therefore, it is not befitting the king to tolerate them. He says they're different. They don't keep our laws. Let's kill them. If it pleases the king, let it be recorded that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 silver talents into the hands of those who perform the duties for deposit in the king's treasuries.
Right.
So the king took his signet ring
Yeah.
from his hand and gave it to Haman.
Boo.
So basically, they wrote a letter decreeing that you can
Yes.
go kill the Jews on this day.
Hell, look who
And they-
just showed up.
Oh,
Izzy,
wow.
Izzy, come into the video for a minute. Yeah, we're making a video. We're trying to read the story of Megillah Esther, the story of Purim. Here, you'll be our special guest for the moment. Yisrael Chai Sponder just called. I think Elica LeBon is dropping by. So maybe you could if you could just give your 2 cents, the reading of it's very important. And we're told to actually read every word. But you know what else is important? Like the Torah, read every word, but also discuss.
What's
also
going on?
read the commentaries. Also have your own opinions and create your own sort of Rashis of what.
Make it personal.
Make it personal. What are you getting out of it? So Izzy, who I won't call you what you don't let me call you. Let's just say served in the IDF, served in Lebanon, in Gaza, was injured in 2014, came back to serve again recently when the country needed him, and was, by the way, rejected by the IDF because he got a severe injury. But he said, I insist. I know I can do it. I know I can fight. I know I can do this. And they kept saying, no, no, no. Finally, he convinced them, and he fought, and he saved
Chazak Baruch.
many, many lives, just him being there. What is your take on this Purim story then and now? We're experiencing it now. I'm going to go get a burger. You talk.
Well, yeah, thank you for the advance warning of what I was walking into here.
Yeah.
I don't have any deep insights other than the parallels are pretty astonishing, don't you think?
Yeah, it's pretty wild that a lot of sages say that the Persian Empire will rise again in right before the Messianic times. It didn't list Qatar or like some other random country like Uganda. It said the Persian Empire is going, and this is what happened. It rise, and they actually I think attacked 15 countries today and yesterday. They attacked 15 countries. Like they're going all out.
They're unifying a bunch of countries that would have
To
kind of
hate them even
sat
more.
out. I think it was a big miscalculation. Are we going to need a new version of Hamantashen? Is there going to be like a new thing?
Maybe it should be just completely circle for Khamenei's
His hat.
turban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll
that's a good
have
idea.
we can stack the triangle and the circle, and then we'll have a sandwich.
We can do better than that. We'll come up with something afterwards.
So we're going to the 4th chapter. Mordechai learned of all that had been done, and Mordechai tore his clothes in mourning. He put sackcloth on, ashes, and he went into the midst of the city and cried loudly and bitterly. He came until the front of the king's gate, for it was forbidden to enter the king's gate, clothed in sackcloth.
Do you want to read some of this? And Esther's maids?
I'll listen.
Okay.
Okay, and Esther's maids and chamberlains came and told her about it. So they noticed, like Esther, Mordechai's like crying outside. Esther doesn't even know that this decree was made, right? And they're telling her like you should go check on Mordechai, right? So she sent clothing to Mordechai so that he might take off his sackcloth, but he would not accept it.
Right.
So Esther summoned Hathach, one of the king's
chamberlains, right, whom he had appointed to attend her, and ordered him to go to Mordechai to learn what this was about and why. So he went to Mordechai unto the city square, which was in front of the king's gate. And Mordechai told him of all that had happened to him, and all about the sum of money that Haman had promised to pay to the royal treasures for the annihilation of the Jews. He was bribing the king
to
with
let him
money.
do it. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. He also gave a copy of text of the decree,
Which was distributed in Shushan for their destruction, so that he might show it to Esther and inform her, bidding her to go to the king.
You know what the difference between Purim then and Purim now is? Purim then was about saving the Jewish people. Purim now is about saving
the world.
the world, saving the Persian people, saving the Middle East. It's such a bigger story right now.
Yeah, it's
and
everybody.
that's why this could be the beginning of that final beautiful redemption we're all waiting for.
Yeah, uniting all
Pass
the people.
coconut water. I'm trying to fast tomorrow, and if you drink coconut water, thank you. If you drink coconut water before the fast, it really helps you. You know what I mean? By the way, we forgot buns, Danielle. We forgot buns. How are we going to have a burger without buns? We'll cut back in now. We had a little problem. Okay, now, I want you to read, but let's have some dramatic music first. What happens now? Start reading.
Well, that night. Oh wait, where are we? Hold on, we gotta.
Oh, we're up to 5. No, chapter 5.
Four.
Now it came to pass. Oh, didn't we do 4?
Hold on, we gotta start that one
Start
again.
that one again. Let's go back in now. I want you to make a few points, and then when I go, and now chapter 5, start the music, okay?
Hold on, wait, we have to.
No, I know. So make the points of 4, and then I'm going to say, and now chapter 5, and then start the music.
Okay, but let me see what the points
Okay,
are.
so what are...
Wait, we're like over here.
Yeah, exactly.
But what are the points?
I was hoping you would know.
Okay.
No, Hatats came
Okay,
and
this is actually
told
very
Esther-
important. Wait, this is very important right here.
Okay, so
because
we're back.
Esther doesn't want to go to the king. She doesn't want to see what's going on. Okay.
Brand, is there any kind of bread, anything that we have here that we could have as buns?
So Mordechai tells Esther everything that's happened and gave her a copy of the text.
Right.
Okay. Hathach came to and told Esther what Mordechai had said. Then Esther told Hathach to return back to Mordechai with this message: all the king's servants and all the people of the king's provinces are well aware of, and if anybody, man or woman, approach the king, the inner circle, without being summoned there, then by law they will be put to death. She's basically saying, I can't go to the king right now.
Right.
I have to be asked to come up to the king.
Right.
Except for the person whom the king shall extend the golden scepter, which I have a sound for.
This was actually
The golden scepter.
This was actually a big
That's the
thing.
sound.
You don't understand how gigantic this move was on her part. You could not go to the king. If you weren't summoned and you went to the king, you could be put
Immediately
to death.
death. There's no question.
So she risked her life.
But no. But she said, I'm not going to go. Listen.
Right.
Listen.
First
She
she
says,
said, "I'm not gonna go."
She says, I'm going to be put to death. She has to give me the scepter. I'm going to touch the scepter, and then I can come. Right. Then that means I can come speak to the king. It's been 30 days that I haven't been summoned yet.
Wow.
So she hasn't been with the king for 30 days, and she's like, he's not going to ask me. Now look what happens. They related Esther's words to Mordechai. Then Mordechai said to reply to Esther, do not imagine that you will be able to escape in the king's palace any more than the rest of the Jews. For if you persist in keeping silent at a time like this, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from some other place.
In other words, that's a big lesson right there.
Emunah.
Not only emunah, but
That God's going to take care of it regardless.
So it'll say, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from some other place. If you don't want to be the person
To do it.
the conduit to do it,
It's gonna happen.
It will happen. Why not step in? Why not step up? Why not be the person to deliver? God's going to pick someone else. Right now, you're being chosen.
You're
for
in the
this
position.
task. So you want to say, no, I don't want. Then someone else will do it. If you are being chosen to do something that you know is godly, a mission that you know will help others, step up to it.
He says, if you don't, then you and your father's house will perish. And who
Great.
knows whether it was just for such a time as this that you attained royal position.
Then Esther said to reply to Mordechai, go assemble all the Jews to be found in Shushan and fast for me, which we're doing. Not now.
Do not eat or drink
Do
for
not
3
eat or
days.
drink for 3 days, night or day. And then it was a whole, she will do it with her maids and everything. Okay.
Then I will go to the king
Then I'll
through
go
it.
to the king.
Even though it's all unlawful, I'm going to go.
And if I perish,
I perish.
that's it.
Mordechai then left and did exactly as Esther commanded. And the entire Jewish people, they started fasting for 3 days.
3 days.
Just for her
And we
to
kvetch about
have
a half
safety.
day fast.
Just to have safety.
Wake up at 5 in the morning, have a nosh, and then at 6:20, whatever, you're eating again. By the way, fasting is very good for the body. You know that, right? The
Yeah.
intermittent fasting and even a 3-day fast, a water fast.
It kills all the dangerous cells.
all the dangerous cells.
die.
So hopefully this comes out on Megillah Esther, on Tanit Esther. Try to fast at least half a day. You know?
Do what you can.
You know why I fast? It's not out of the religious law. It's out of the idea of feeling the unity of our people. Of just like,
We're all hungry at the same time.
we're all hungry at the same time. It's not like I feel I'm going to be punished if I eat something. I just want to be in, what's the word I'm looking for? Aligned with. I want to be in solidarity with my people who are suffering.
all connected, yeah.
If
Their
they're
pain is my
suffering,
pain.
Their pain is my pain. Right now in Israel, their pain.
We're just
is
sitting,
our pain.
relaxing. There's no rockets over our heads, but they're
Right.
all in shelters.
In shelters.
So we feel the pain by
I
fasting,
feel
reading
it. I
Tehillim.
don't feel as happy as I usually am. I usually feel this joyous feeling. And again, in Adar, you're supposed to feel this. But I have this
is our
anxious,
test.
nervous feeling. But again, be in solidarity. Fast. Not because you have to, or because it's a halacha, a law, or you're going to get punished if you don't, but because you want to. Feel that connection with your fellow.
that we've been doing for thousands of years as Jewish people.
Correct, sincere. And now let's hear the music, chapter 5. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day, Esther donned royalty and stood in the inner court of the king's palace, facing the king's house. You know, most people do this in post-production, the music.
Yeah, but
But I like it.
But you feel it
no,
now.
No, I feel this. This is good. While the king was sitting on his throne, in the throne room facing the chamber's entrance, by the way, take out your Megillah. No, I like this. Take out your Megillahs and read along with us.
Yeah.
Don't just let me read.
We're in chapter 5 now.
Yes. So, okay. When the king noticed Queen Esther standing in the court, she won his favor. Whew, that was a close
That was
one.
huge. That's a miracle right
The
there.
king extended to Esther the gold scepter that was in his hand, and Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. All right. You could write
Touch
your own
my
jokes.
scepter, please.
See, I was going to say you could write your own jokes. We're trying to keep this holy, you know what I mean?
No, it's touch my scepter,
Touch
please.
my scepter,
Achashverosh was Persian. Continue.
The king said to her, What is it for you, Queen Esther? And what is your petition? Even if it be half the kingdom, it shall be granted to you. That's what the king said. If you want half the kingdom,
You can have
right?
it.
Yeah, I think this is where that divorce thing came from. You get divorced and you get half. Anyway, Esther said, if it pleases the king, let the king... I like the music. Where's the music?
Okay, we'll go back to the music.
If it please the king, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet that I have prepared for him. Then the king commanded, tell Haman to hurry and fulfill Esther's wish. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. The king said to Esther during the wine feast, what is your request? It shall be granted to you. And what is your petition? Even if it be half the kingdom, it should be fulfilled. So Esther answered and said, my request and my petition, if I have won the king's favor, and if it pleases the king to grant my request and to perform my petition, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and tomorrow I will do the king's bidding. Keep reading, and then we'll get to chapter 6.
That day, Haman went out joyfully and exuberant. So Haman is so
Boo,
excited.
Haman.
Haman is so excited about all this. And he's like, okay, look at this. I'm the hotshot. I'm getting invited to a party. He got
Right.
the invitation.
Right.
But when Haman noticed Mordechai is in the king's gate, and that he neither stood up or stirred before, nor stirred before him, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Haman was infuriated with Mordechai. Once again, that one thing pissed off Haman. He had everything. He had everything. That one thing couldn't keep him happy. Okay.
Right.
Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home. He sent for his friend and his wife Zeresh. I hate Zeresh. I have a sound just for her. I hate Zeresh.
Haman's wife.
Chak to Sara Zeresh.
Yeah, I agree with whatever.
And
that
Haman
was.
recounted to them the glory of his wealth and to his many sons, and every instance where the king had promoted him and advanced him above the officials and royal servants. Haman said, moreover, Queen Esther invited no one but myself to accompany the king to the banquet that she had prepared. And tomorrow too, I'm invited, by the way, you should know, to go to the king.
Showing off about this, she got the invite.
Yeah, all the
too.
flaunts. Yeah,
I
all
was
the-
also invited.
All this means nothing to me. So as long as I see the Jew Mordechai sit at the king, he's pissed. None of this matters to me as long as Mordechai's alive. Then his
then-
wife Zeresh.
Said, let a gallows be made. A gallows to hang Haman.
This is her idea.
Not Haman, to hang. It turned out.
Mordechai.
To hang Mordechai. Turned out it wasn't Mordechai.
That same, yeah. We're gonna see.
We're going to get there. Okay.
So that was her idea. The wife's idea was to kill Mordechai.
Right. So always
Then-
listen
then-
to your wife except when she tells you to kill
Kill
a guy,
someone.
especially a Jewish person.
But look, in good spirit, he got so
Yes.
excited that in good spirit, he accompanied the king to the banquet. This suggestion pleased Haman, and he had a gallows erected. So he made the gallows.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Read. That night, sleep eluded the king, so he ordered that the record book, the chronicles, be brought and be read before the king. There it was found recorded that Mordechai had denounced Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, of the guardians of the threshold, who had plotted to lay hands on
On
King
Achashverosh.
Achashverosh. Now explain what's happening here.
So remember the two soldiers?
They were like double spies.
Yeah, they're
double
like, we want
agents.
to kill the king, and Mordechai was like, oh, I heard that. Tells Esther. Esther tells the king, and then they kill those two people. That was the chapter that is being read to him because he couldn't sleep.
Incredible.
So he couldn't sleep. They bring the storybook of his kingdom, and they started reading the chapter. And the first thing he started reading is that story of the good that Mordechai did.
Wow.
So there's two miracles there. One, he couldn't fall asleep. He couldn't fall asleep.
Right.
And two, he couldn't fall asleep. So instead of, like, let's say exercising or going for a walk, he said, let's hear the book. That's another miracle.
Yes.
That he wanted to hear the book to help him fall asleep. And when they opened the book, they read the part about Mordechai's good that he did.
Crazy.
You got to line up these miracles. There's such. That's why it's like these. There's like you can think about things in your own work and your business that line up, and then if you line them up like this, you're like, wow, like how this is impossible.
How about waking up? That's a miracle.
It is a miracle.
How about being able to speak, being able to walk, being able to see? Everything is a miracle.
That's when you become more thankful. The more
And-
you realize it.
Yes, and that's why all these miracles in this story, and not a mention of God, not a mention of God. Why? Why doesn't God reveal himself in a way that we know, oh, this is God, this is God, this is God? Why? Is it up to us?
He's always putting himself in hiding
so
in
that
nature.
we have
freedom
choice.
of will. Freedom
Free
of
will,
yeah.
free choice.
Yeah.
If God showed himself,
Then you'd be too scared to do anything wrong. You have to have the choice to believe in him. That's why he hides himself in everything.
and the choice to do the right thing.
Yeah. So here, let's go. He says, what honor and dignity has been conferred to Mordechai for this? What did he get, right? What did he get for saving my whole life?
Right.
So asked the king. Nothing has been done for him, replied the king's pages. The king said, who is in the court? Now Haman had just came into the outer court of the palace to speak to the king about hanging Mordechai on the gallows he had prepared for him. Okay, ready? You continue. This is Haman coming to the king.
Where are we?
So the
King, I got it. Chapter 7.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here we go. Chapter 7.
No, so the king's servants answered him. He says, who's in the court? It's right before 7.
Oh, okay.
Right before 7. He says, who's in the court? Who's in the court?
Yes.
Right under 6, go a little bit down. It says, who's in the court?
Who's in the court? Who is in? I can't find it.
So the king's servant answered him. Oh no. It is Haman standing in the court. And the king said, let him enter. When Haman came in, the king, the king said unto him, what should be done for a man whom the king especially wants to honor? Now Haman reasoned for himself, whom the king would especially want to honor. Who else would he want to honor other than me? He's so full of himself.
Right.
So Haman says to the king, for the man whom the king especially wants to honor, have them bring a royal robe that the king has worn and a horse that the king has ridden, one with a royal crown and on his head. So he's listing.
This is how you could tell the difference between good and evil. Good people run from being honored.
Yeah, having
good people
being
are
the
humble.
spotlight.
Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses,
Humble.
humility. Haman, Hitler, all these people.
Want to be in the light.
Yep. I mean, technically we're in the light right now, but we're not evil.
And then he says, then let the robe and the horse be entrusted to one of the king's most noble officers.
Yes.
And let them attire the man whom the king especially wants to honor, and parade him on horseback through the city square, proclaiming before him, this is what is done for the man whom the king especially wants to honor. He's like so extra. He's like, have the person that walks the horse to start telling everybody, this is what should be done to the person that
Like
especially wants to honor.
my 16-year-old daughter would say, that is so extra.
Then the king said to Haman, hurry then. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Hurry then, get the robe and the horse as you have said, and do for this for Mordechai the Jew. Again, it says the Jew again. Mordechai the Jew, who sits in the king's gate. Do not leave out even a single thing that you suggested.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So Haman took the robe and the horse and attire, and he put it on Mordechai and led him through the streets in the city, proclaiming, this is what should be done to the man who especially wants to honor. Literally, Haman's the one that has to do it to Mordechai, and he hates Mordechai's guts. But if he didn't do this, Ahasuerus would have killed Haman on the spot by not listening.
Right.
So it's just so fascinating that it really flipped right there.
The script was flipped, as we say in Hollywood.
Then Haman comes back to Zeresh and says, you won't believe what happened today. He had a tough day. He says to Zeresh,
rough day at the office, honey?
Yeah, he comes in and starts telling her all that had happened to his wife. And she says, if Mordechai
I'll tell you what she said. Oh, don't you want to hear about my day?
Yeah, why is it all about you?
Always about you. Haman.
You didn't ask about anything I did today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at what she says. Because he mentioned that, like, what a terrible things happened, and Mordechai was riding on a horse, and he wasn't.
Okay, good.
So she says, if Zeresh, right? Because we hate Zeresh. If Mordechai, before whom you have begun to fall, is of Jewish descent, you will not prevail against him, but you would undoubtedly fall before him. While they were still talking with him, the king's chamberlain arrived, and they hurried to bring Haman to the banquet which Esther had arranged. He didn't have a time to digest all of this. He tells Zeresh this. Zeresh says to him, well, if you're going against the Jews, then the Jews are going to win, right? Especially if you're starting to fail.
Right.
Chapter 7.
Here we go. So the king and Haman came to the feast with Queen Esther. The king asked Esther again on the second day at the wine feast,
What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? And Esther said, oh, if I found favor in your eyes, the majesty, and if you can just grant to me my one request, for we have been sold, and I and my people are supposed to be destroyed, slain, and exterminated.
And then King Ahasuerus said, Who wants to kill you?
Yeah, who wants to kill you?
Who did this? Who said this? Who dared to do this?
And Esther said, an adversary and an enemy, this wicked Haman.
Boo. And Haman was there going, uh-oh. Busted.
Do that again.
Busted.
No, the uh-oh.
Oh, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what the? And Haman was scared,
Trembled in
trembling.
terror.
The king rose in rage from the wine feast and went into the palace garden while Haman remained. So he had to step outside.
Yeah.
He had to take a breather.
Yeah.
The king went to go take a breather.
Yep.
And he saw the king's evil determination against him was final. When the king returned from the palace garden to the
Is
banquet,
that Elica? Oh my God, Elica is our Queen Esther.
the
What
queen.
we decided to do at the last second. Hey guys, come sit down for 1 second. Hi, girlfriend.
This is an official.
It's an official thing.
It,
So Elica LeBon is here with us.
Is reading the.
Yeah,
We're doing Bible studies.
Hey, how are you, Johnny? I didn't even see you. Okay, wait. So Elica, what we're doing right now is we are reading the Book of Esther. Now, last night I introduced you as the Queen Esther of our
I
time.
need to film this.
No, it's being filmed. I don't know if you see cameras.
I know I do, but this
Give it
is
to
for
Johnny.
my own
then.
personal
yeah,
memory.
give it to Johnny.
Can
Maybe
you
go
just
from
film
here and
this?
get the whole thing.
No, just film it. I
You
just
just
want
film
to
it.
tell me what you're doing.
Okay. So I'll tell
Tell
you
us
what
what's going on here.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what we're doing. So my friend Menachem, who's a good friend of mine, Persian by the way, say hi in Farsi
Salam.
to each
Ala
other.
Shema.
Durud.
What?
Durud.
Durud.
Khosh Amadim.
Merci.
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 That's
yes, thank you.
Farsi?
Yeah.
That's French.
It's also Farsi.
Who took it from who?
French took it from Farsi
Obviously.
because Farsi.
I'll go with whatever she
Farsi's
says.
thousands of years old.
Exactly.
She knows
here's-
history
my
better than me.
friend- So my friend here, Menachem, is a beautiful, wise, talented man and funny man.
No.
He called me today. He goes, "Hey, do you want to tell the story of Purim, like in English, for people who can't really decipher the Hebrew?" And I went, "Yeah, but I have game night tonight, and Elica's coming." And I was like, "Oh, who better to tell your version as a not Jewish person, but someone that is so connected to her people and to our people, someone who
Thousands of
is-
years of history.
Thousands of
But
years
I
of-
don't know the story.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, so I'll just make up a story.
No, you're
Oh.
not going to make up a story. What you're going to do is what I want to ask of you as someone who has fought for years for both our people, who is finally winning this good fight against good versus evil, who has championed her people and our people, who is on the right side of history, humanity, and reality. I want to ask you how you're feeling in this moment where this Purim story, where the evil Persian Empire falls after their decree to annihilate the Jewish people.
Oh, does it say that?
This is. Oh, you don't know the story of Purim?
No.
Can we give her the story of Purim in a nutshell? This is 2,000 years ago.
Over 2,500 years ago, the Jews in Iran,
Oh
in
no,
the
I know this.
Seat of
thing. When
Shushan.
Cyrus the Great freed the Jews. Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
No.
It got bad after that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
We
this is
like
after.
Cyrus. This is after.
So there is Kurosh, and then there is Cyrus. But what we're talking about is, I think his Farsi is Khashiyashar Shah. And long story short, there were many Jews that lived in Iran, in the capital in Shushan. There was a decree to kill all the Jews, and because of this one evil person, Haman,
Yeah.
who was
Sounds like
second
an evil guy.
second to
It's like the
command.
Ayatollah, literally.
Yeah.
Second to
They're
command,
calling-
yeah, he's like Ahmadinejad,
Yeah. Okay.
and then Khamenei is basically Achashverosh.
Okay.
Actually, no, Achashverosh is more like Trump.
No, Hamani
Is Haman also? Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
You guys are so funny. You everything you say ch except for the actual ch.
That's funny.
Everything you're like Hamas, and then when you say Khamenei, you say Khamenei. Like
Khamenei.
suddenly you can't find it in your throat.
We can't.
You lost it. You're
we
like, what,
lost the
Khamenei.
Hamani. Right, because is it Hamani?
Yes.
Okay, it's spelled with an H,
It's spelled KH.
so it's Kamani.
No, it's Khamenei because KH is how you spell
We
ch.
spell the ch with CH. That's
No,
why
but
it's
when you say
confusing
H,
to
you
us.
make
I
it ch.
recently learned that my name is actually Menachem. It's not supposed to be Menachem.
Because it's MEN. Okay, interesting. Anyway, here's
Do you
the
have any
point.
food?
Yeah, tons.
Good.
Wait 1 second.
Where
We
is
need
it?
you for 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
The point is, 2,000 years later, we're facing a very similar enemy, the evil Persian Empire. And the only difference between then and now is,
It's not an evil Persian Empire. It's the Islamic regime.
right, the current, of course it's not evil. Nothing about Persia is evil. Persia and the Jewish people are aligned.
Yeah, you just said the evil. We're facing the evil Persian Empire.
The empire of the Islamic regime is the current evil
They're
empire.
heading the empire right now.
They're heading the empire.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right.
The point is, the difference between this story of Purim, this story was about saving the Jewish people. I think today's story is about saving your people, saving about the Middle East, saving the Middle East.
All
about saving the
morality
world.
in the world.
It's,
Civilization.
what do you think? Now that you're a little bit familiar with the Purim story, you know the Book of Esther, you've heard of that, right?
I've heard of
Book
it.
of Esther. What do you think now that we're in this time where history's repeating himself, evil doesn't learn from mistakes? They don't learn that you're not going to win.
Don't be
evil
bad.
never thrives, it never flourishes, it never wins. Ever.
True.
Hitler, you want to go through
The
history?
Greeks, the Romans, they've all vanished, but the Jews have always
But
stayed
here we
thousands
are,
of years.
And
Egyptians.
your people are about to be freed. What's your gut? What's your feeling?
Well, my feeling is that we're going to go into a very different new world. It's going to be a new world order. It's not going to be marked by conflict and terror and violence and war. And I think that many people have been put on this earth to push this path forward. I think we're reaching a new level of consciousness, a new level of collective consciousness in the world where we're rising above, the years of war and the years of conflict and the years of land wars and just everything that has unnecessarily cost and sacrificed so many lives for ideological extremism. And I think we're entering a phase where we are collectively now realizing the cost of that extremism. We're realizing that isn't something that can just be ignored, because if you ignore it, it might not directly come to you, but it will come round to you. Okay? And I think that civilization at large is now realizing this. And
What
so
starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews.
never ends with the Jews. Starts with the Saturday people, doesn't finish with the Saturday people. And so what I think is happening now is that we're going to go into this new era where we are going to finally develop intolerance for intolerance. We are no longer going to be tolerant of ideological extremism in a new Iran, in the new Middle East, terrorism, jihadism, all of that type of
It's all gone.
extremism.
Has to all be gone.
It's the penalty will be severe. There will be de-radicalization. There will be deprogramming. It's just something that won't be left unchecked anymore.
You're basically describing the Messianic era according to the Jewish prophecies, where
It's all in
everyone's gonna be on the same wavelength in understanding and
Yeah.
want and desire.
Yeah.
Morality will be
Yeah.
covering the whole earth.
And it's not that we won't, it's not that nations won't be against each other.
Right.
Like, oh, I have my allies and screw you and you have your allies. But it's not going to be a conflict of, ideological extremism where one has to dominate the other. It will be that, like, hey, I didn't like that you did that and you think that you can have so much power. Well, I should be able to do that too. Like, those types of conflicts, obviously they're going to be forever, but it's not going to be this anymore.
One question, and then you'll go eat.
Okay.
This is the Book of Esther, but the Book of Elica is coming out when, and what's it called?
When are you putting this out?
Tomorrow?
Okay, no, so we won't tell that now.
But you have a book coming
I
soon.
do have a book. It's coming out. And
What's the essence? What's the general message
The general
of the book?
message of the book is it is a way of looking at an overview of looking at everything that's going on, but not so much in terms of facts or politics. It's more about looking at the psychology of how people get drawn into these extremist ideologies and how it happens to ordinary people and how society doesn't realize just how far it's accelerating until it's too late. And then there has to be this like shock wave that wakes them up to...
It's a wake-up call to the useful idiots.
Exactly.
Do you think the useful idiots will read it and comprehend it
Not
and apply
immediately,
it?
but I think that friends who read it, who are softer with them,
Right.
they'll just say, just read it. If you don't like it, throw it away. And
Right.
Did you come up with the title yet? Because he's
Yes.
pretty good at that too.
Oh, trust me, my
Oh,
title's very
believe me,
good.
girl
Yeah.
has her title.
Girl has
All
her
right, you've
title.
earned your burger.
Okay, thank you. Where
Thank
do I
you.
go?
Right there in the office.
Oh,
and the
lovely.
food's there and the. All right, let's wrap up the Purim story.
So the king became super.
Chapter 8.
So, well, the king became super pissed and said, "Okay, well, let's go hang Haman on the 50-foot high gallows which Haman made for Mordechai." And that's what they did. They hanged him on him. They hung him on it. Whatever the phrasing is.
And that's an unbelievable turn of events. And again, the message of if you seek to destroy, if you seek to annihilate, you will be decimated.
Yeah. The barrel of your own gun will be turned on you.
Correct.
Zeresh's gallows that she wanted to help Haman design
For Mordechai.
hung
Hung her
husband.
The Ayatollah,
Killed himself with all of his words, all the blabbering.
when you say death to America, death to Israel, it's death to you.
You're the one to die first.
Yeah.
So let's go to chapter 8.
That very day,
It's actually very happy. He's very happy because
that very day, King Ahasuerus gave the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, to Queen Esther. He gave everything.
everything.
It's unbelievable.
He gave it to Esther.
Mordechai presented himself to the king. A lot of partying went on. Esther
The
yet
signet
again
ring
spoke-
was given to Mordechai. That's a big
Yes.
thing.
Esther yet again spoke to the king, collapsed at his feet, and cried and begged him to avert the evil intention of Haman. Oh, so we're not up to that yet.
Well, he also got the golden scepter. So this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Esther cries to the king and says, "Look, there's another thing that we got to get done.
Yes.
There's a decree that all the Jews should die." So the king gives a scepter,
Oh.
and then she touches his scepter so that she can speak, which is whatever they did back then.
Right.
And she said, "If it pleases the king, I have one last favor, and the proposal seems proper in the king's opinion.
Yes.
And I be pleasing to him. Let a decree be written to countermand those dispatches devised by Haman." They're saying, let's write exactly what he said, but the opposite, so the Jews can protect themselves.
Right.
So they wrote, basically, he says, "I cannot take back the letter that was already sent out." Because back then you can't take that back. And also, once the king says something, you can't undo it.
So it shall be written.
So they wrote that the Jews have the right to stand up and protect themselves.
Of course.
That's basically what they wrote, and they sent out the letters immediately.
Wow. And
Yeah.
that lasted for how long? Was that decree?
For that same day. So the same day, because remember, it was a one-day thing that Haman said, for this one day you can kill all the Jews.
Right, and
So
the
the king
same
says
day
that for
it
this
said-
one day,
Right.
the Jews can protect themselves.
Amazing. So let's go to the final chapter.
Yeah,
chapter
so the
9.
king left the king's presence, wearing all these beautiful things.
Mordecai left the king's presence clad in royal apparel of turquoise and white, with a large gold crown and a robe of fine linen and purple. Then the city of Shushan was cheerful and glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. After the fasting, after the evil decree, we started partying. And Purim is a party holiday. It's
That's
like
what we do.
Simchat Torah.
You have to
We
eat a meal.
celebrate.
You
eat a
have to be
meal.
with people. You have to give gifts to
Give
others.
Matanat le'avyonim to the poor.
Yeah, you gotta give
You
tzedakah to the poor.
have to give charity to the poor. You have to give each other, your neighbors, your friends, gifts of food and whatever gifts, and all these beautiful customs and rituals and tradition that help us celebrate this
altruistic.
holiday.
Yeah, it's altruistic.
Including Elica, we've got wine for you.
So here's where we're
Let's
at.
get to it.
So he says, and the Jews struck all their enemies with the sword, slaughtering and annihilating. They treated their enemies as they pleased. In
Yes.
Shushan, the capital, the Jews slew and annihilated 500 men. And then it lists the sons of Haman that they killed. Something crazy is that there are 3 letters in the list of the sons of Haman that for thousands of years we wrote like this.
Right.
The letter Chet, the letter Shin, and the letter Zayin, which equates to the same year of 1946. And one of the sons of Haman, okay, this is too deep. There's too much we've got to talk about.
Yes.
But long story short, one of the last Nazis to be hung, there were 10 or 11,
Nuremberg
10
trials.
Nuremberg trials. One of the 10 Nazis that were hung, he yelled out Purim Fest 1946.
Yes, this is a crazy thing. He just blurted
Blurted it
that
out right before he died. His last words were Purim Fest 1946. They don't know why. He just randomly blurted that out.
Blurted it out.
What does that mean?
It means that Haman and his sons were sent to the gallows instead of the Jews. And he was being sent to the gallows and be hung with the Nuremberg trials and the other Nazis instead of
And these
the
3
Jews.
letters equate to the Jewish calendar year. I think it's 5707 or something like that, and it equals to the same year of 1946 in the non-Jewish calendar. So what's crazy is Esther here says, even though these 10 sons of Haman are killed, she says, I want them to be hanged. Why? Why hang them if they're already dead? In future tense, she's referring to the 10 Nazis in the future to be hanged.
Oh, wow. And that's why he blurts out Purim Fest.
1946.
Wow.
Really wild.
See, God, there's no construct of time.
She was
for
praying.
God.
She was also praying for the future Nazis to be killed.
Right.
That's what her prayer was.
And when God sets something in motion, it doesn't matter if it's a year from now or 2,000 years from now. And that is unbelievable that he blurted that out and no one understood why.
Why is that his last words instead of "Hail Hitler, God forbid" or whatever else? Like those are his last words. Okay, so if it please, and that's on his mind right before he dies. Like he's about to go to hell. Yeah. So look at this. This is what Esther replied: "If it pleases His Majesty, allow the Jews who are in Shushan to act tomorrow as they did today, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged on the gallows."
Wow.
So tomorrow, it talks about tomorrow.
Wow.
Okay, so the king ordered it. They hanged Haman's sons. And
they read this in one breath, all the names.
All the names.
Why in one breath?
That I don't know.
Okay, we should find that out.
That I
before
don't
we do
know.
a whole production here.
Yeah. I should have probably done a little more research.
It's
But I
okay.
want this to be exploratory for both of us.
Yes.
Right?
So, and then how does it hang? So then we get the retribution. Haman and his sons are hung, and then how does it end?
So Mordechai recorded these events, which is what we're reading right now. This is the letter. And he sent it to all the provinces, and festivities began, right? So from mourning, it turned to festivities. They were observed them as days as feasting and gladness, and for sending delicacies to one another, right? Mishloach manot, matanot levionim,
Go to your
gifts
local
to the poor.
shul, your synagogue, your temple. Do that feast. It's the Purim feast, and it's the day of. It's Tuesday, the day of Purim. I'm going with my parents to their shul in Manhattan at 4:00 for a little Purim dinner. They're in their 80s. They eat Purim. They eat Purim dinner at like 4. Yeah.
But
so anyway, wait, guys, listen to how it ends.
So why is it called Purim?
You tell me.
Because pur means to cast a lottery. And the same way, it was by chance. They chose the date to kill the Jews. Haman cast a lottery to choose the date to kill the Jews. So we play on that same phrasing. So this is why they call these days Purim, from the word pur. Therefore, because of all that was written in this letter, and because of what they had experienced and what had happened to them, the Jews confirmed and undertook themselves and their prosperity, and upon all them and all who might join them, to observe these 2 days without fail in the manner prescribed in all the proper time each year. So they always do this every single year for thousands of years.
Yes.
And Mordechai and Esther's tomb are still there in Hamadan.
It's still
in
there.
Hamadan. Mordechai and Esther
You
are
can
buried
see
there.
it there, Elica.
You can go see it.
We'll all go see it.
We'll
soon.
go read this there.
We will go.
We'll
on a
read
group
this.
Trip.
We'll read this.
Birthright to Iran. That's a new birthright. Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? We're gonna end the way we started. We started in Hebrew. We're gonna end in Hebrew. We started with Vayihi bimei Achashverosh. We're gonna end with Ki Mordechai HaYehudi Mishneh LeMelech Achashverosh Begadol HaYehudim V'Ratzui L'Rov Echav Derosh Tov La'amo V'Daver Shalom L'Chol Zroa. Read that.
And for Mordechai the Jew was viceroy to the king Ahasuerus. He was a great man among the Jews who found favor with the multitude of his brethren. He sought the good of his people and was concerned for the welfare of all his posterity. He was concerned for everyone. So
I think this was very good, and I think it was helpful for people who maybe didn't grow up and go to yeshiva and heard the Megillah every year and are so familiar with the story. I think this is a good way to connect to the holiday, to connect with our heritage and our history, and, watch, like, and share.
connect back to the story, to
Happy
our
Purim,
roots.
Freilach
Yeah,
Purim.
Purim. Here we go.
Misha Nifnas Adar Marvin B'Simcha, B'Simcha
Mazal tov,
L'chaim,
mazal tov.
Mazel tov. Beautiful, Menachem.